Okay, now we're going to look at how to set up an instructor pace test. So remembering that we always want to start from the left and work right and then down, we're going to select instructor paste from the session type menu. Now, because we want to develop a test, we can skip over the classes part for just a second and go straight to the test banks section. Click on the green pencil where it says new test bank. Okay. We want to enter a name for the test. We'll call this adding and subtracting decimals. And in this case, we want to select test bank. When we do that, it'll take just a second and it'll say that questions have to be added. Do we want to add questions? Yes, we do. Alright, looking at this box, we have several different choices. We can create a multiple choice test. We can create a multiple response test. We can create a fill-in test. With the type of remotes that we have, we cannot create an essay response or a content item or a doodle response. So really these first three choices are the only choices we have. We'll start off by looking at multiple choice. So if I want to enter in a question, say 22.2 plus 38.6. And then I want to offer some choices of answers. Well, if I want to offer A, B, C, and D as choices, I can go ahead and fill in the answers that I want to give as options. So I'll say 58 and 6/10. Let's say 45 and 9/10. Let's see, how about 60 and 8/10, which if I'm adding correctly is the correct response, and 50 and 8/10. Since I believe that letter C is the correct response, then I'm going to click again on the C check mark, and that will switch it to a green check mark. That's showing that that's the correct answer. When I go to the next question, all I have to do is click next question, of course. It'll take just a second, it'll come back up, and I have the choice of changing my question type or leaving it as a multiple choice. We'll just do a quick review of what using the multiple choice type looks like again. So this time we'll do 1 and 4/10 plus 6 and 5/10. Again, I'm going to offer choices A, B, C, and D. So I've checked all of those boxes. This time I'm going to put the correct answer in box A, so I'm going to double check that box to turn the arrow green, showing that it's the correct answer. This time the correct answer is 7 and 9/10. I'm also going to offer, let's say, 5 and 1/10 as a choice, 9 and 7/10 as a choice, and let's say 16 and 54/100 as a choice. Again, I've marked the correct answer as A by double clicking on that check mark. Now I'm going to add another question. This time I'm still going to use the multiple choice format, the multiple choice type. This time I'm going to apply a template. So when I go over here to template, I click on this arrow, and I can make this either a true-false question or a yes-no question. So I'm going to select true-false. You can see that true-false pop up in the choices down here. Let's say that my true-false question is the numbers that are added together in an addition problem are called the factors. Of course, that's not true, and so I'm going to select false for that, and I'm going to move on to the next question. Again, there is the template for yes, no, so you can do the exact same thing if you want to make a yes, no question. Yes and no appear here. I type my question into the question box, and I can go on from there. At this point, though, I'm going to select a multiple response question type. And so for this, there will be more than one choice that students can select to give as correct answers. So if I put in which of these are decimal place values, then if I give A, B, C, and D as choices, and I say the ones place, obviously that's not correct, the tenths place, that is correct, so I'm going to double check to select that is a correct answer. The check mark will turn green. The thousands place, that obviously is not correct. The hundredths place, and that is correct. So now I've got 2 check marks that are green, showing that there are 2 correct answers to that question. I'm going to go on to another question. It takes just a second. This time I'm going to do a fill-in response. If I wanted to do a question that students answered on their own, for example, 3 4/10 minus 2 1/10, then what I have to make sure that I do is put in a line to show what the blank is. Typically, iResponse suggests 6 underscores, and so since I did 3 4/10 minus 2 1/10, I'm going to check that A is what needs to be filled in, and then it will still stay gray here. I can't click on that. So I'm going to click on the S where it said scored responses, and there is only one correct response here, and so I'm going to put in 1 3/10 and click OK, and that obviously is the correct answer, and so I click OK, and I can go straight to the next question. We'll do another one of those now, another fill in the blank question. If I said, let's say 4 7/10 plus 3 2/10, put in my 6 underscores again. I'm going to put my answer into A, so I put a check mark next to A. I click the scored response, the S next to A, and this one, of course, would be 7 9/10. That's the only option that's correct, so I'm going to click OK. Just as a quick note, it would also be acceptable to answer 7 90/100ths, so I could put that in as another correct option, or of course that could go on to 7 900,000ths, and it could keep going from there. So I'm going to click OK, showing that any of those answers are correct. And now that I've tried every question type here, I'm going to go ahead and click Finished. I'm done entering questions. So I ended up with a total of 6 questions in this particular test. Now, if I wanted to run this test, all I would need to do is follow those instructions from the first tutorial. I'm going to click Instructor Paste because I'm going to choose the pace at which students answer these questions. They'll see the questions displayed on the board. I'm going to click My Roster to show that those are the students that I want to participate in this test. Then I'm going to scroll down to where it says My Test Banks, and you'll see adding and subtracting decimals is there. When I click on that, it takes a second, but it does load up the test that we created here. I'm going to use my remotes, and then I'm going to click Start. When I click Start, I'll just continue following those directions that we used before.